Well, first of all, Darren, just Happy New Year to you and all the players.
Happy New Year.
Off the pitch, 2020 has been like no other, of course, for each and every one of us. But
Yeah.
on the pitch, how do you reflect on the past 12 months?
Well, it's hard, isn't it? It's very hard to reflect on the past 12 months. I mean, the standout is that we achieved a playoff spot in our first season, but that was pretty much due to 2019 really, rather than 2020, wasn't it? So we had that experience of being in the playoffs. It was a first time experience for me to be in the playoffs. I've won League Two before, but never really been involved with the playoffs in that regard. And it's been a very difficult year. It's funny, this morning I was saying to my wife, I said, can you believe that we went into lockdown in March and we're now on the border of the 1st of January 2021. It's in a really, really weird way. It's gone so quickly. And I don't know how that's possible because we were locked down. So it's, it was, but personally for me, again, I've absolutely loved my time, all my time I've had at the club. Lockdown for me gave me a chance to, for the first time in my parental years, be a parent, be a dad, and football not be the main driver in the kind of day-to-day world. And even though there's obviously been a lot of illness and a lot of suffering out there, I enjoyed my time with my children and my wife. I found out I quite like my wife. She's not the worst person in the world, so I thought that was blinding. And and we've started the 2020 season not as we'd hope, but we're hopefully pushing those limitations right now.
The season is only 13 games old. What should Yeovil's ambitions be heading into 2021?
Promotion. Next.
So you still think that's a possibility?
Absolutely. 99 points to play for. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. There's while there's air in my lungs and the players have got the same vision that I have, we'll fight that all the way. No doubt in my mind.
Well, Aldershot was a good start. What clicked on Monday, and has that set a standard and shown your players what they're capable of?
I think, I thought we played really well at Bromley. I thought we played differently at Bromley. It was a different type of performance that it took me 10 minutes in the game to kind of get my eyes in and understand really what I was seeing in the Bromley performance. But I thought it was a really good performance. Bromley very controlled, very well thought out performance. And we saw, I thought we saw the best performance in Reece Murphy and Quigley in that game. And then obviously we went to that horror show of Saturday against Torquay, and I thought we responded very well and at Aldershot, and we responded how the group should respond, because they're like I always say, and I always back, and they're a fantastic group, an absolute brilliant group of people. I love spending time with them. I like being with them. I like getting angry with them, actually. It's quite good fun when you have to throw a wobbler with them. So they always react really well, and I thought we played okay. I still think there's so much more we can do, but until we get a consistency in availability of players, and especially the back four, it was the 15th back four I put out in terms of combinations, the players, and that was the 15th back four in 13 games, which I know it sounds hard to believe, but the changes in game that we've had, and the injuries and things like that, and we had a sending off in one with Wilkinson, has meant we've played 15 different versions of a back four or a back three. And until we get that consistency, we'll have an inconsistency, but we're all working really hard at trying to get that.
What would you expect in January in terms of outgoings and incomings?
We're always looking to improve. We've had, like a lot of clubs, we've had to start late again because of the financial footprint of the football world. But we're always trying to improve the squad. Always, I have a very keen eye for centre forwards. I don't think you can have enough of them. So I'm always on the lookout for a centre forward. we've obviously struggled at centre half in terms of having players available. So you've always got to be mindful of that permutation rearing its ugly head again. But I think there's a lot of growth still within. We've still got to work with the new ones, Sanupe, Knowles. Players that are new to our shape, how they fit into us, and how quickly we can ensure they develop a kind of an intuition of what's expected of them. And I think if you looked at the team on Monday, because of the lack of time between Saturday and Monday to prepare, I went with a group of players that knew me really well. They knew a certain shape and a way of playing and an expectation, and we went with that. And just because we had a lack of coaching time, so I thought they responded brilliantly, and I gave some opportunities to some players that have either been injured or out of form, or in some instances both, and I thought they responded very well as well.
And if we look forward to the week ahead, starting on Saturday, is revenge an ingredient going into the game with Torquay?
Naturally, I think it's natural for people of, for committed people of, that really care about their football, their work. I think that's a natural behaviour to have, but I think revenge is probably a bit steep in terms of the aggression and the intent that you need to be revengeful. But there's certainly that element to us, and we do feel that that we're trying to build credit again with our supporters, and the way you build credit with them is really hearty and honest displays, and we'll be looking for another one of them, definitely.
It's a really tight league, I think, just 9 points between 2nd and 17th. Why are Torquay so far ahead? What's their secret, do you think? Why have they got such a healthy lead over the rest at the moment?
Well, I think you see it every year, especially in the National League. You can build a very early momentum in this division. I think Bromley did it last year. I think Halifax were kind of thereabouts as well last year with it. And you can build that momentum quite quickly, and if you're fortunate enough to be able to name the same team and play the same shape, and your pre-season has been smooth, obviously it gives you a fortuitous kind of head start. But that's them. I think they're a well-coached side, and they've obviously built that momentum. They've built that momentum in the way they play, and that means that they go into games with a lot of confidence and a lot of belief. Because their experiences have been more positive than negative. I think that's just common sense, really. But no, good side, tough side, and good game for us, great game for us to respond with.
The same applies on Tuesday, doesn't it, when you play Weymouth, probably one of the biggest games of the season for supporters who have a traditional rivalry with Weymouth. How much are you looking forward to that game? Well,
Terry obviously speaks, a lot about that rivalry, being part of the furniture here, and he is more so than anything has tried to imply the importance of that game. So now again, another good game, and in terms of this division this year and the region, some good games for us.
And in terms of team news, first off, how's Rhys Murphy?
Rhys is he's okay, first of all, but he's still at home, and he's still in an isolated state. Hopefully we'll be able to get him out of that sooner rather than later. We're not actually sure on the final date yet. It's been a bit complex with Rhys, so we're still waiting on whether he can come out of isolation before Saturday or after, and that'll all be down to testing and the provision that is in place in terms of medically. I think that's it. Collins is nearing a return. Staunton is still out. But I think after Monday, I think we're okay. I don't think there was too many wounded. So yeah, might be able to play the same team for a change.
That must be on a wish list, because you mentioned all the combinations for example.
Yes.
Effects. How much of a desire is it, if you can, to kind of name a settled side going into the new year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially I think with the back four as well. I think it's a unique unit for consistency, isn't it? But, those relationships in those high pressure moments are really important. I thought Max Hunt responded unbelievably well on Monday. I thought he was magnificent. It would have been a tough second game for a young man, but I thought he showed a lot of resilience, and I thought he performed very well. So even things like that, even the players seeing Max do what we, the staff very much know he's capable of, that will give everyone around him and his unit a lot more belief as well. So as well as Max as well, but I thought that showed some real ballsy characteristics out from Max on Monday.
And finally, COVID is having a real impact on sport at the moment, not just football. Do you have any thoughts on the amount of postponements we're suffering and the talk of a potential circuit break, or realistically, do we have to plough on?
Well, I don't think football is a cause of any spread. I'm trying to work out how it would be, working in your bubbles and things like that, and how it's contained and the way we are. So my actual thoughts are that football doesn't need a circuit breaker. I think it needs to follow these protocols very diligently, but I don't think it needs a circuit breaker. The Premier League's not going to stop. They're not going to stop, no, not for the love or money. So, I don't think the EFL or the National League will stop. If it does, it will be done for the right reason. I'm not against it. I just don't think it'll happen.
As always, thank you for your time. Thank you, Darren.
Top man.
That's me now, Darren.
Yeah. Come on, Aid.
Well, first thing is, can you confirm that you're going to be on The Masked Singer this week?
Day or night, me green and white. Class, isn't
Well,
it?
not
Masked Singer. Jeez, what would I go on as?
Please not
Shrek.
again. I think we've had it once. We've had it enough. Obviously, a successful good win on whenever it was.
Monday.
I've lost track of days now.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday. Has that sort of kind of lifted that horrible gloom that must have descended upon you when you lost to Torquay?
Yeah, this group don't really have a gloom. They're incredibly proud. The first thing I said to them on Monday was I thought it was a really proud performance Monday, because the one thing that it did dent was some pride, or a lot of pride, not some pride, a lot of pride, and we were very disappointed in ourselves. That was the underlying feeling. Sorry. On Sunday, and we had a brief chat on how we look within and what type of behaviour we'd shown and what messages we were giving off, which were horrible messages and totally against kind of what we'd built previously, and we had a lot of sort of. We had a big inner look at ourselves, and told each other in no uncertain terms, and it was each other. It wasn't me on them, or them on me, or it was all around the room. And that's not good enough. It's not what we expect. So I thought Monday was a real proud performance. I saw that in them. I actually thought they were too tight and too tense first half. I thought they were really tight and tense, the players, but a byproduct was that was the commitment they were showing. So when we find that balance, that we'll find a better balance to our play. I'm sure of that.
No fans is becoming a real issue now. I mean, I watched the game on the stream on Saturday, Monday, whatever, and it really is. It's
depressing.
It's you in the face that there's just nothing there.
No.
Just 24 guys playing football on a pitch.
Yeah.
Nobody else there. It's you're finding it's getting to you after a while.
Well, it's just a worse version of football. It's just a poorer version of the game that we've all played and enjoyed. And I can't tell you the moments that we've had with the Thatcher's End after games are career highlight moments for me. And we're missing that, and that's the first thing I thought of when the whistle went. That lovely salvation of the final whistle after a win on Monday. I actually walked onto the pitch to go and do the kind of the clap. I thought, I must have drifted off, and it wasn't there, and I had to turn around and walk straight back down the tunnel. And to not have those celebratory moments with your supporters is, is the worst thing, because that is the real, for a manager and the players, that is the real high to football, is that reaction and that connection that we have with our supporters and the fans after wins, and even when you get beat, that having that connection, that honesty, that truth that you can have with them. It's just a poorer version of the game at the minute, definitely.
I watched the game as I mentioned, and I know you don't like to sort of single out players, but I thought Lawson Diaz and Courtney Duffers in particular looked really strong on Tuesday.
Yeah, I thought there were some like I said, I thought Hunty was very good. Adam Smith had a very good performance. Having Wilkinson back in the team makes a big difference, as you can see. And I was really pleased with Lawson and Matthew, because they've both had lots of spells with injury. They've been in and out. They've struggled with form, especially Matt. Especially Worthy, and I thought they set the tone quite brilliantly on Monday. And Courtney's great when he's in that instinctive frame of mind. You look at both his goals, both head down, knows where the goal is, has an understanding of where he is on the pitch, good technique. And we work on that a lot with Court, that he doesn't overthink his finishing, that he carries on trying to move with pace and power and get shots off quicker rather than have extra touches. And when players do have extra touches, they're thinking as they touch the ball. And I like it when Courtney's really direct and abrasive and gets his shots off quickly. So we speak about, especially that second goal where he kind of he has to turn and snatch at it really quickly. We speak about that opportunity all the time. So I was really pleased that he got his 2 goals. That's one thing that we've not done this year, is when we have gone one up in previous games, we've not got away from anyone, and obviously Monday was evidence that we can still do that. We've got that in our armoury. So it was a really important moment for Court, because he's obviously struggled with injury and illness, and but again, Matthew and Lawson were instrumental in igniting that performance. I'm sure of that.
As seasons go, I mean, you always get injuries, we know that, but would you say this has been a worse season than most in terms of injuries that you've had this season?
It's the worst I've ever had as a coach or a manager. It's the worst, especially if you think about the strategy of signing Josh Staunton. The strategy of signing Josh Staunton was to always ensure that we were strong either in the middle of midfield or at centre half. So to call him a bit of a sweeper upper is probably a little bit too derogatory to Josh. But we were at our worst last year when we were without Wilkinson or Collins or Charlie. I always thought we were a little bit weaker for that. So I wanted Josh to come into the club to ensure that we were strong in those kind of key positions all the time. And the poor sod, who played 38 games in a row last year, is probably not going to kick another ball this year. And then you take Colo's injury, big player for us, huge character, massive character, and we've struggled. And that back four is, it's not rocket science. We conceded too many goals. But we've never had the consistency of those relationships. So it's we battle through, and like I said, we're always trying to do the best we can, and that elusive shout of hopefully we've turned the corner is very much at the forefront of our mind right now.
Well, I'm sure Gary Johnson wouldn't fancy a return to last season, but another 6-1 or 6-2 wouldn't go amiss, would it, this weekend?
1-0's fine by me. Winning, you get the same for a 1-0 as you do for a 6-1, so 1-0's fine for me.
Yeah. Well, good luck for Saturday anyway.
Thanks, mate.
Darren, and good luck on the Masked Singer as well.
I knew I'd get some. Come on in, you.
How are you doing? You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. Yeah.
You just touched on, obviously, losing Staunton for the rest of the season. Just how big a blow is that?
Huge. No, there's, I don't know if people believe me when I say it, but this group of players are an unbelievable group to work with, and they're an unbelievable group to work with because of the character of it. And Josh Staunton is the kind of the model of the type of person that we have here. And we had a similar performance on Monday from Jimmy Smith, who helped us coach, helped us with the warm up, took on some senior duties. But even on the touchline, his teamship, we call it teamship, to ensure our job is done at the very, very best of our ability was enormous. And Josh is like that. Josh is very much in that mould. And I thought, I mean, when I watched the Stockport game back in the FA Cup, I thought Josh was a lion, an absolute lion that day. So he's been a big miss. He's been a big miss, and we've not obviously bore the fruit of his qualities. And that, that's a shame, because he has got an enormous amount of qualities, as he showed for Halifax last year. But this is why I'm always keen to try and sign players on 2-year contracts. Is that I want them for the long haul. I want to build around people that I know and I've built relationships with. And Josh was, that was the thinking behind Josh. So the Oval, our football club has him for at least another 18 months now, and we will see the best of him, I'm sure, because he's a wonderful, wonderful chap, honestly, as good as they come.
And what's changed with Gabby Rogers? Not so long ago, he was scoring the winner in the FA Cup, and we were looking at a breakthrough kind of season. And just a few weeks down the line, he's now thinking of leaving the club.
Well, I don't really know, is the honest answer. I mean, my situation is very simple, is that, I manage the first team players, and they're the players that are at my disposal to select or not to select on any given match day. So the ones that are there fighting day in, day out, they're the ones I manage. The other stuff I leave with Scott, and he deals with all of that sort of stuff. So I don't really know, and I think it's unfair to say as well. I think if we did, it's a one-way forum at the moment. So I think that's unfair.